welcome everyone. Chuck just texted me a few minutes ago that he's not going to be able to make the meeting, so I'll take volunteers to lead the pledge, or I'll just start. How about if we just do that? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so Chuck was set for invocation, so I'm just going to wing one on the fly here. All right, so now that we have the election behind us, let us pray for peace and unity among our citizens and in our country. Let's keep our minds focused on how we can do good in the world. Through each action, the world can be a better place. Amen. All right, I don't see any visiting Rotarians, Mary Ann, so I don't see any visiting Rotarians, so yeah. All right, we're going to have a pretty short agenda today. All right, club announcements. So I got a request. We were going to talk about this in the board meeting after this meeting, but I got a call from Kyle Coons, who's the president of Rotary in Cedar Rapids. He's a partner for Camp, lives down there, and is the president this year. And they have gotten, of course, a lot of aid relative to the derecho damage. And they actually have some extra funds. They know they can easily get those funds out to people, but they wanted to try to do something maybe a little more targeted. And there's some other clubs that they're still expecting some funds from. So what they're proposing, and they're asking our assistance in other clubs, is they've identified 2 families that have severe damage that are having trouble getting assistance. One of them, it's a situation that the insurance companies, the adjuster is not working with them, and they have significant damage to their home. Like their chimneys were blown off, and they have holes in the roof, and windows are blown out, and things like that. And then another couple has various issues related to their home and their property. So they're both in need. And so what they are wanting to do is see if they can connect with other clubs that could provide some, not monetary assistance necessarily, but they certainly would take that if we had it, but see if in other areas there are connections within our club for contractors or other folks that can help out. One of the problems in Cedar Rapids is there's so much damage that contractors are all busy. They can't make it around. So the one couple that had the roof damage and everything, their boiler is out because the flue for the boiler was going up through the chimney, and so they have no heat in their home. They have holes in the roof and broken out windows. So it's a pretty dire situation for them. So we're going to talk about it at the board meeting, but I wanted to get the word out to you, get some thoughts from any of you as you think about this. You know, Scott, I think insurance-wise, if maybe you could help look at their policy and see if there's any way that they could get assistance in a different way, or if there's something being held up, or not necessarily you, but anybody who's in the insurance business. Also, people who have connections with contractors. If we could find some contractors from this area that might have some capacity and might be able to come down and help out. Just use our Rotary resources locally to see what we can pull together to help out these 2 families down in Cedar Rapids. So I just ask you all to think about that, see if you have any ideas. If you do, send me an email or reach out to me. I told them that I would run it past the club and the board and see what we could pull together. So this is the time when Rotarians come together and find ways to help others in need. So this is a great opportunity, I think. So again, just getting it out there so you can think about it. And any friends, people you know that are in the trades that might be able to help out, that would be fantastic to know about that. Let's see. I do have one here. HR.
Yeah.
Going to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
So our friend HR, you mentioned this in one of the meetings, but this was in the paper. So thanks to Mary Ann for giving me this. So HR, the general manager of Five Flags Center, has been awarded certification as a certified venue executive. This designation is the highest level of professional competency awarded by the International Association of Venue Managers. Cook has been named a member of the IAVM for 31 years and is one of the only 9 general managers worldwide to receive CB status. So obviously this isn't an easy thing to get, so would you care to share a little bit about how this comes about?
Certainly, I'm Joyce and can understand the CBE. It's about a 15 to 20 year process. It is reserved for general managers or executives. It's a you have to write an essay, you have to be published, you have to do public speaking, you have to do community service. There's there's like a 3-hour panel board examination to test your knowledge. And so since 1982, since this certification was in place, there's only been 350 people that have made the certification. So I didn't know that until after I was done. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I'm like, wait a minute, okay. So, but yeah, thanks. It's going on my resume, so when I get fired, I can have that as a chip. So it's the only reason why I did it.
Well, good work, HR. Congratulations. All right, so real quickly, I just wanted to bring up membership. I'm looking for my report that I had here. So at the board level, we're going to talk about membership, and obviously this has been a tough year for a lot of clubs and organizations. Rotary is no different. It's been a challenging year for us. And so one of the things we really need to do is engage in membership development. Current members, getting them more ingrained. New members especially, there's a lot of new members since, I can't think of the numbers, but 7 to 10 since April. I think something like that. And we don't see them here, so we need to find a way to engage them, get them here. I know COVID is creating some issues. Some of their employers are sensitive to them coming to things. Some of it's personal choice, but we need to try to engage them, and we also need to engage new members. So we have had, since July of 2015, so 1st of July, through June of 2020, we had 7 members term with less than a year. We had 22 term with 1 to 2 years, 26 3 to 5 years, and 19 6 to 10 years. Now some of that is it's various factors that's driving that. I thought I had a report for that. I must not have printed that. But a fair number of those were relocations, so can't do anything about that. People relocate for job or otherwise. Others, one of the biggest areas that I think requires some thought from our club and board level is other business commitments. So what is driving their lives that's keeping them from being able to continue on with Rotary and participate in Rotary? Because that's one, if hopefully we can do something about potentially. We've looked at, stopping the attendance requirement because that scared some people away, that they felt like they weren't a good Rotarian if they weren't here every week. Granted, we'd like to see people here regularly, but business things do come up and get in the way for people. So hopefully that has helped that people still can participate in Rotary, and maybe they can't make the weekly meetings every week, but they still can participate in various things. Obviously there's some deaths in there and other things. But the 2 biggest categories were relocation, which we can't do anything about that, but the other one is, other business needs or conflicts. So we need to really think about how we can structure our club so that we can still engage those people. And maybe it's, the satellite clubs, the evening clubs. We tried that a little bit with last year with Anita doing the evening once a month. We got a few people with that. It wasn't super well attended. So I guess I'm also looking for feedback from that perspective as you talk to people and just your own impacts or your own.
Sorry about that. Some cool jazz will bring it back.
Gary's trying to lighten that up, lighten the whole conversation up, Gary.
Sorry about that. It was a soundtrack.
No, so not to belabor that, I just, we need to think of ways that we can engage new people. And last week I mentioned different cause-based clubs, whatever that might look like. Rotary International is very open to ways that we can engage other people and more people in our organization. So we just need to think creatively, and then we need participation. So Angie Herding She was going to be at the board meeting today. She's out sick. She has, and I know Tony's part of the membership committee. You guys have talked through some different ideas for enhancing membership, but Angie has said it's not something that just a couple people on the committee can do. So I'm also looking for volunteers, people who might want to be on the membership committee and engage in different ways. So a couple different ideas we're looking at are membership or member interviews. One member doing an interview of another member and then putting that on social media so that we can, you know, there's good and bads to social media, but if somebody's interview is out there and they can share it with all of their connections and other people, then there's more awareness for Rotary from the social media networks. So spotlight on social media, and then the interview concept, which then also the interview helps us know our Rotarians better. We used to do member minute. That was always good, but it's hard, it's short, and people don't always like talking about themselves. But if you interview somebody, you can pull a lot of information out of them and maybe present it in a different way that shows us what they're really made of. So just some different ideas that we're thinking about. So, you know, a club is only as good as how active the members are and how much we all contribute to our club. So I guess I'm just bringing that to the forefront of your awareness that the club is what we make it. The leadership of the club can't make the club. The members make the club. And so I would just ask for everybody to be thinking about how do we make this club better? How do we engage more people and touch more lives? So, all right. So, and let's go on. Let's do happy dollars and community announcements.
Well, last Wednesday, I had to go back to the foot doctor, and I got out of that snazzy boot that they asked me to wear for 3 weeks. But the doctor said, I want you to wear a good substantial shoe with about a 1-inch sole that does not flex, like a Birkenstock or, I don't know, he named some other brands. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble now. Never in my life had I bought a pair of shoes for their functionality. I would buy them for their fashion. What am I going to do now? I thought, I'll just wear the damn boot because he wanted me to do this till the end of November. I thought, hell, I'll just wear it. So I was telling my daughter, so yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, she came to my house with 3 pairs of shoes in her bag to loan me because she had, and this is one of them.
Oh, boy.
It's got a pretty substantial, and the sole doesn't bend because he doesn't want me to do this with my foot. I said, okay, well, I went to dinner with my daughters a couple Saturdays ago, and I almost decided to put a pair of heels on just because I didn't, ugly. Well, he said, good thing you didn't. I did wear the boot because he said, if you injure it again, I'm going to have to do surgery. Oh, okay. Got my attention then, so anyway, so I might have to wear the boot again off and on between now and the end of the month if I can't find a pair of shoes that are going to look good with what I'm wearing. I can wear the boot and then different shoe.
It's almost a wedge.
Yeah.
Those are fashionable. It's almost a
And they're
wedge.
very comfortable.
Right? Right?
Oh,
I don't know shoes. Maybe a little.
Well, anyway, never in my life did I buy a shoe. Oh, I need a good solid shoe. But any old thing I can find as long as I like it. So anyway, that's my happy dollars.
Be one for each foot.
Well, he said.
All right, I have 5 happy dollars for today. Some of you know my son graduated this May from Iowa with a sport and rec management major, and he was interviewing with professional sports teams right as COVID was hitting, and all of a sudden they all shut down, and everybody was, if they were employed, were laid off and everything. So he's been trying to figure out his next plan. So he applied to grad school at Iowa for the master's program for sport and rec management, and he got selected for it, but to make it even better, they're giving him full ride. So he's going to have teaching assistantship and everything. So proud parents. He was thinking if he went to this, he was going to pay for it, but he's going to get it all paid for, which is pretty cool. So, yeah.
It's not how any of this works.
And thanks to Scott for providing all the raffle prizes today. Actually, we are low on raffle prizes. That's kind of it. So if anybody has anything they'd like to bring for a raffle, I appreciate it.
We are, and so as people came in, I said, well, we're a little low, so today might just be a donation to the student, which prompted one of our wonderful members to throw a $10 bill in. Thank you.
Excellent.
And somebody else, and that's before I saw the whiskey and the golf balls. When I said the same thing, he said, "Oh, do you need prizes?" And he reaches in one pocket, he's got this, and he reaches in another pocket, and he's got that. So I tell you, it's a good group. Thank you.
Definitely.
So since Kim is sitting closest here, I'll just let you. So the prizes are Scott Goins has, I assume they're from Scott, otherwise somebody stole your name.
Yeah.
So there are 3 cloth bags, and along with one will be a sleeve of golf balls. Another will be that wonderful Tennessee whiskey or whatever it is.
Sleeve of whiskey?
A sleeve of whiskey, yeah. And a couple of calendars. And not everybody uses calendars anymore, but there's some really cool pictures of cool cars on the one. So, and finally, through the generosity of one other person that came through, is a lovely 50-cent piece. So you can add that to your collection.
All silver.
It's all silver.
It's all silver.
What's that?
It's all silver. It's a silver $50.
Yeah, like I said. And Tim, you get to choose the first one.
Well, I have to take the silver piece.
It's only half silver, but that's okay. No, it's real.
Does it make a mark?
And the next one is Walt Webster. You want to choose one of these?
Booze.
Okay.
Booze in the bag.
Booze
Booze in the bag.
There you go.
In the bag.
And then we have Charlie. Well, that's a lucky table over there.
Little winner table.
Golf balls.
Thank you. And the last one is
There you go, sir.
Joyce Connors, who's going to pass. We'll try another one. Joyce White.
Hey,
It's the day of the Joyces.
all in the family.
Yeah, so you get the funky curse.
365 gifts.
And as Tim said, if anybody has some lovely things they'd like to bring in and donate as gifts, looks like we need it because that truly was the end of everything.
Oh, yeah, yes.
The end.
Thanks, Cedar. $2 for the music.
You get this one.
I got that.
Almost making you cry is worth $2, so. All right, so Scott, you're up.
All right, it's my pleasure to introduce Rachel Dilling. She's the Executive Director of the Dubuque and Jackson County Habitat for Humanity. In this role, she leads the organization's operational and programming efforts to increase access to affordable home ownership. She also works with the Board of Directors to manage strategic planning for the organization's future goals and growth. Rachel has a passion for working with nonprofit organizations and has spent over 10 years doing so. Prior to joining Habitat for Humanity, Rachel was a Director of Initiative for Communications at the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque. Her work there was focused on communication efforts for initiatives centered around equity, economic opportunity, and educational attainment. Prior to that, she served as Director of Marketing at the Ottumwa Regional Health Center, where she oversaw the marketing, occupational health, volunteer services, and healthy promotions departments. Please welcome Rachel.
Right. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to share a little bit about Habitat for Humanity with you guys, what we do, what our programs are, and the impact that we've had in the community, along with different ways that you can get involved if you're interested in doing that. All right, here comes the test. There we go. It worked. So our vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live, and our mission is to bring together people to build homes, community, and hope. So just to give you a little bit of background on Habitat for Humanity on an international level, it started in 1976 in Americus, Georgia by a gentleman named Millard Fuller. Since then, 29 million people have been able to build or improve the place they call home. In fiscal year 2019, more than 7 million people had the opportunity to build or improve the place they call home, and more than 1.4 million volunteers are mobilized annually. So Habitat for Humanity International operates in 60 different countries, and in the United States we have what we call Habitat affiliates, which is what we are. There are about 1,200 different affiliates throughout the country serving different communities. So we serve Dubuque and Jackson counties, but there are probably about 30 to 40 different affiliates in the state of Iowa alone, just serving different communities. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of the structure of Habitat for Humanity. They operate on a federated model, so we are an affiliate of Habitat for Humanity International, but we are our own independent 501c3, so we have a local board of directors, we do all our own fundraising here locally, and we make our program decisions here locally as well. So this kind of just gives you a different idea of the different areas that we focus on as an organization. So that community impact is really improving housing conditions for our community members. Sector impact focuses on advocacy work and improving access to opportunities and advocacy for affordable homeownership. And that societal impact really focuses on bringing people into our mission and being passionate about affordable homeownership opportunities for individuals. So when we talk about our work, I always like to start by talking about why we do what we do and talking about the need for our programs and why we do that. So here in Iowa, 1 in 10 households spend more than half of their income on housing. The definition of being a cost burden individual when it comes to housing is spending more than 30% of your household income on housing. So in Iowa, the more than half of their income would be that severely cost burden category. And then in order to afford a 2-bedroom apartment at fair market rent in Iowa, you require an hourly wage of $15.01 per hour. And then on the very right, you see there that we have about a shortage of 58,000 affordable and available households for extremely low income renters in Iowa. So there's a big gap in affordable home ownership for people who need it here. Here's just a couple more statistics that kind of go along with those. On the far right, you can see that most qualified Iowa households cannot actually access rental assistance. So that green number is the number of low-income households that receive rental assistance, and that 80,000 is the unassisted, severely cost-burdened, low-income rental households that cannot receive it. And then we talk a little bit about more locally here in Dubuque. Most of this data came from Imagine Dubuque, which was an initiative the city did. So Dubuque is the 4th most expensive area, and it would require a wage of $15.75 per hour to rent a 2-bedroom apartment here. And cost burden, which is that paying more than 30% of your household income for housing, is the most prevalent problem in Dubuque for owned and rented households alike. And the graph on the left there shows you the blue line is the households by income, and the green line is the affordable units by income. So you can see there for that less than 30% of the area median income, which is that extremely low income category, there's a big gap of number of households and the actual available units to that group of people. So that kind of brings us to our work here in Dubuque and Jackson counties. Our affiliate has been around since 1991, and since then we have built or rehabbed 25 homes for Habitat partner families. And we also have a repair program that I'm going to tell you a little bit about just in a little while after we get talking about our programs. We do serve Dubuque and Jackson counties. Most of the work that we've done has been here in Dubuque County. We've built, I believe, 2 or 3 homes in Jackson County. We are actually building one right now, so we're excited to be back in Jackson County and doing some work there again. So our first program, which is the one probably most people are aware of, is our homeownership program. This is where we are building new or rehabbing existing homes for what we call partner families. This program really operates on the premise that we know that living in an affordable home ownership situation can make a big difference for a family. It can change education outcomes and health outcomes for children. We know that kids who live in a situation like this are more likely to graduate from high school, more likely to go to college, and more likely to become homeowners themselves, which can really change a trajectory for them. So our homeownership program serves those at 80% or less of the area median income. I would say traditionally most of our homeowners fall between that 40 to 60% of the area median income. This program really focuses on simple, decent, affordable home ownership. So we are typically building homes that are somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400 square feet. We typically are not building garages. We do storage sheds, and we have kind of a good matrix that tells us how big the house needs to be based on the family size and how many children there are. So that's really the focus of this program. We do have an application process that we go through when we're choosing our homeowners, and it looks at these 3 different areas. So the first thing is, what's the housing need? What are the current burdens that this family is facing? Is it space, safety, health? Are they cost burden? We look at any of those factors when we're looking at applications. The second thing is their willingness to partner with Habitat, and what that means is that all of our partner families must put in what we call sweat equity, which is volunteer service that they have to do before they move into their house. Families usually are putting anywhere between 200 and 300 hours in before they move in. Most of that's done actually on the job site alongside of the volunteers who are helping to build their home, but they also can put in sweat equity hours through an education series that we offer to them. So we offer 9 different classes that the homeowner must go through before they move in. It really covers anything from learning about homeowners insurance to homeowner maintenance, financial literacy and budgeting. How are they going to manage their bills when they get into this house? We want to make sure that we're setting our homeowners up for success once they move in. So any of their hours spent in those classes also count towards their sweat equity as well. And then the third thing we look at is their ability to pay an affordable mortgage. I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear out in the community or just out and about, is that people think Habitat builds homes and just gives them away for free, but we actually don't. The homeowner purchases that home from us. Habitat acts as a non-banking lender, so we originate the mortgage for our Habitat homeowners, and the benefit for them to work with us is that we are typically offering a 0% interest mortgage, and we are making sure that their mortgage payment is not going to be more than 30% of their household income. So we often are putting subsidies in order to cover the rest of that equity to make it affordable for that homeowner. So we have to look at their ability to pay a mortgage to make sure that it's going to be a good situation for them when they move into the house and that they'll be able to afford that. Our homeownership program, when we are building or rehabbing homes, we rely a lot on volunteer labor. I'm not sure if anybody's ever been out to a Habitat job site before, but we have people from all different walks of life who come and help us build our homes. And then we engage subcontractors when we need to, obviously for electrical and HVAC and those specialty skills. And we've been very lucky that we've had generous subcontractors who donate or discount their time and help us keep that home affordable, in addition to using that volunteer labor. So our second program that we offer is called A Brush with Kindness. It's a home preservation program. We mostly focus on exterior repairs to homes with this program, so it could be anything from landscaping efforts, siding repairs, roof repairs, anything like that. But I would say a majority of what we've done with this program is actually building wheelchair ramps for individuals who need handicap access to their home but don't have it. So this program has a lot of the same parameters as our homeownership program. You have to be at 80% or less of the area median income. There is an application process that you have to go through in order to qualify for the program. And then as part of this program, the homeowner actually pays a part of the material cost in addition, because most of the time our homeowners in this program are not able to put in sweat equity. So they pay a portion of the material cost, and Habitat does the labor for them. So this is just a picture of a ramp we did, I think this was last year as part of this program. So there's a couple different ways that people can get involved with Habitat in our work. You can volunteer on a build site, which this year looks a lot different than it has in the past, obviously. So we have put different safety measures into our policy this year, where masks are required on job sites. We are really limiting how many people we bring onto a job site. You know, typically if we were in a big build push, we'd be bringing 15 to 20 people on our job site, and now we are not going to bring more than 10 people on at any given time. Really trying to make sure we maintain some distance if we can and build in a safe way. So you can volunteer on a build site. We have also five different subcommittees that help us drive our work. We are a small nonprofit with small staff, so we rely on our committees to do a lot of our work, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the different committees we have on the next slide. And then, of course, donating to our projects. That always makes a big difference as well. So these are our different operating committees that we have that really help us drive our work. We have our Homeowner Selection and Support Committee, and that committee really helps develop our selection criteria and that program to select our next homeowner. And they are the ones that go through all the applications and do the due diligence and meet with our homeowners to really pick our next family. And then once they're in our program, they are the ones that offer that continual support and connecting those homeowners to our education opportunities. Our site selection committee helps us build our inventory of lots and homes that we're going to be either building new on or rehabbing for our next partner families. So this committee is really crucial to helping us plan for our future projects. Our building committee is in charge of everything that we do for our build projects. They do the budgeting, the scheduling, the working with subcontractors. They really help drive all of our build projects. And they are also the ones that are on the job site leading our volunteers. So this is probably one of our most important committees when it comes to actually our program work. Fundraising committee obviously is probably exactly what you think it is. They help us plan our special events when we do them and help with fundraising efforts. Faith relations, we have typically, Habitat has a long history of support monetarily and volunteerism from faith groups. So we have a lot of faith groups in town who give of their time to make meals for volunteers, give of their resources where they do collections for us, and also just being on the job site and helping us build. And then we have a newly formed committee, which is our Restore Committee. I'm not sure if you are all familiar with what a Habitat Restore is, but it is a secondhand building supply store. It's a retail front that a lot of Habitat for Humanities have, and it's a retail arm that helps support the mission of Habitat and helps us do our programming. So a lot of Habitat communities have these. We do not currently have one, but we have a very passionate group of individuals who wants to see us get one here in Dubuque, and so they are working on the process that it will take to do that with a goal of opening a Restore here in Dubuque in 2021. So that doesn't seem too, or no, I'm sorry, 2022. Yes, I was going to say that doesn't seem too far off. So I just want to share a little bit about the current projects that we have going on. If you are not familiar, in Maquoketa, there is a project going up called the Bear River Cottages Pocket Neighborhood. It's actually a project of the East Central Intergovernmental Association. They are putting together this neighborhood of 10 homes in this pocket neighborhood, which are all smaller homes, smaller lot lines that will all face inward towards each other and kind of have this nice sense of community around it. So we partnered with ECIA, and we are building one of the homes in that neighborhood for a Habitat Partner family. We just broke ground on that project in early September, and the roof actually should be going up hopefully this week, so it's very exciting. So we'll have some additional volunteer opportunities that are going to be coming up with that project in the next couple of weeks. We hope to move our partner family into that home by March or April of next year. She is a single mom who has 2 little girls, and so this house will be a perfect size for her. We're really excited to work with her. And then the build that we have going on East 21st Street here in Dubuque, we actually took ownership of this property through Dubuque's True North Corporation. They had been rehabbing a home on this lot that just was in really disrepair and in rough shape, and so they partnered with us to say, would you guys take this lot? And I said yes, but we would want to build a new home on it. So we were able to demolish the home that was on that site, but we did so in a way that salvaged a lot of the materials from going to the landfill. We worked with Kyle Fitzgerald, who's with Fitzgerald Reuse and Marketing, and he took that home down and was able to salvage a lot of that lumber, which we were really happy about. And then we just broke ground on that home, probably about a month ago, and just got all the concrete work done now. We have a very generous building company who's going to be coming in to help us raise the walls of this home and get it dried in before winter, since we do have a challenge this year in bringing volunteers on the job site. So we're very fortunate to have Cruiser Construction actually is the one who's coming in to help us do that. So we will have 2 builds going on at the same time this winter, so that will keep us very busy, and we're really excited. So we have a homeowner for this home as well that we are hoping to move in by early summer next year. Her name is Ashley, and she's a single mom. She has 4 little kiddos, so this is going to be a really nice home for her as well in a good neighborhood. And then, of course, the Restore. We are working on our progress towards doing opening a Restore. So this year we'll really be focused on doing a market study, a market analysis, and trying to find a site that could be a good fit for the Restore, and starting to kind of build our inventory of donations and starting to look at bringing staff on to help run that store once we bring it. So those are our big projects that we have coming up where there will be opportunities as well. So that is a little bit about Habitat and who we are and what we do. I don't know if anybody has questions. I'd be happy to answer any.
Question relative to the Restore.
Sure.
Mary Ann will be listening to see if you're going to be offering shoes.
What type of items are you
looking for? Will it be available?
It's, a lot of what you see in a restore is, kitchen cabinets, flooring, paint, building supplies, trim, doors, windows, sometimes furniture. It just depends on the restore and what we offer. We probably would likely take in furniture and sell that as well, because that's a lot of what we get requests for. But people who are, redoing kitchens or redoing their entire house often call us and say, I have all these kitchen cabinets, I have all this furniture, I have bathroom vanities, toilets, all these things, what can I do with them? And in a normal, if we had a restore, those are all things that we would take. So,
And this would be located in a commercial area?
I'm not quite sure yet. So Habitat International actually provides some really good guidance once you get a market study. So the things that they look at, which they believe are optimal locations, really rely on car traffic, foot traffic, and proximity to other big box stores like a Menards or a Lowe's or a Home Depot or something like that, because they want you to be located in those vicinities, because you want to be a good second choice or first choice based, because you have similar offering to them. So you want to be located in proximity to them as well. So I'm not quite sure what the market study will tell us, but those I know are some of the parameters that they look at when they tell us what would be an ideal spot for us to locate that. Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. All right, everyone, have a great week. So next week we have, where's the sign-up sheet? We have Sandy for music. Scott, you have the sign up there? Can you read that off to me?
Sandy Music of the World, added location, and Mary Ann Raffle.
Mary Ann Raffle. All right, thank you. All right, everyone, have a good week.